Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel where today I am so excited to finally be talking about Evil Dead Rise, which was easily my most anticipated movie of this year. I'm a huge horror fan and I love Evil Dead. As you can tell, I've got my Evil Dead Blu-rays right there. And fuck, what a fantastic time to be a horror fan. Between the fantastic last year for horror movies that just gave us banger after banger. And already this year having Scream 6, which I loved. This movie was such a wild ride, and I enjoyed every second of it. This is not a perfect movie for me, and I'm not sure if this is my favorite Evil Dead movie because I really, really love the 2013 Evil Dead movie. This one right here, well, both of these. This is the unrated extended cut, which I got recently and watched. But I love that 2013 Evil Dead movie. So for me, going in, that was kind of like the bar to beat. And if they didn't beat it, they came really damn close with this because I had such a good time. Fuck, man. I have so many thoughts about this movie and so much to say that I don't even really know where to begin. But I guess I'll just start off with the things I loved, which is a lot of this movie. Right off the bat, from the very first shot, how they kind of take a classic element and kind of iconic shot of the series and they kind of turn it on its head a bit and they do something with it that's pretty unexpected. Right off the bat, I'm like, okay, this is going to be cool. This is going to take elements that we know and love from the Evil Dead movies, and it's going to present it in a new, fresh way. And I feel like they did that. You know, this is very much still an Evil Dead movie. If you go into this movie and you know anything about Evil Dead, I mean, you know what to expect, okay? This is just gore and self-mutilation and, possession and filthy, pervasive dialogue. And I loved every second of it, like the psychotic bastard that I am. This movie gave me everything I wanted. And, I think, first off, as far as the final girl or kind of the Ash character, if you will, for this movie, I always thought it was going to be a very, very hard task to follow Jane Levy, who played Mia in the 2013 film, because I love that character. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we haven't gotten her back. And I would love to see a sequel, maybe like an Army of Darkness 2 with her and, of course, Ash, Bruce Campbell as Ash. And the new girl on the block with this movie, Beth, I thought that she was fantastic. I thought she was a really likable final girl. You know, I just love the setup of her character. She's a groupie. She's a guitar technician, which, I also love music and especially rock music. So right off the bat, that kind of hooked me in and endeared me to her character. And, she's got everything you want for a final girl, in this type of movie. She's, a little sarcastic. She's, strong. She's going to put up a fight. I mean, this is everything you want in an Evil Dead final girl. And even what they do kind of with her character as far as, kind of her, like, struggle and what she's going through, I thought was really interesting and actually added like a bit more tension to the whole situation. I don't want to spoil anything because, guys, go see this movie. Please support it. And I thought the family around her, kind of our main cast of characters, I thought they were all good. You still have the characters who just make stupid fucking decisions. Like, you still have that. That's been in all of these movies. And, that's definitely here. I think this movie gets away with it a little bit more because a lot of the, stupid decisions are being made by kids. So you're like, okay, like, it's a stupid kid. But, there are still those moments where you're just like, dude, like, why are you still doing that? Like, get the fuck out of there. But again, I don't want to fault this movie for that because that is in a lot of horror movies, and that was a really big problem with the 2013 movie. And I even think in that regard, this movie is better in just that, I felt like 2013, as far as what the characters were doing, kind of stretched plausibility a bit more. So all the characters I really enjoyed. Alyssa Sunderland, I think her name is, the main actress, or well, one of the main actresses in this, the mom that actually is the first one to get turned into a demon, into a, oh my god, I'm a Deadite. I almost said Cenobite because, I don't know, my mind went to Hellraiser. Deadite, she's the first one to get turned, and I thought she did a really good job. She's scary. A lot of her lines are really funny too. She has one line where she calls the kids titty-sucking parasites, and that got a really big laugh from my theater. And that's something else with this movie that I actually really enjoyed, is that it takes a lot of the best elements from that 2013 movie and it adds a little bit of that old school Evil Dead comedy back into it because, as much as I do love that 2013 movie, it was missing a little bit of that, like, kind of original comedy that especially like Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness had, and I actually appreciated that. I liked the more dark approach to that 2013 movie, but I'm happy that they incorporated some of that, comedy into this, and it never overshadowed the horror. This is definitely a, scary, horrific movie with some, funny lines and some funny kind of slapstick moments. And a couple of times I felt like maybe it was like out of place. There was one scene in particular where I was kind of like, okay, really? But again, like with it being Evil Dead and because, the rest of the movie is so horror centric, I'm kind of, a lot of the comedy I enjoyed. There were a couple of elements where I thought, okay, maybe that was a touch too far, like I didn't need that. But overall, I thought the way that they kind of blended the best elements of 2013 and those original movies in this film worked really, really well. And oh man, as far as the kills, this has got some good ones. One of my more kind of disappointing elements with this movie, and this one does sting a bit, is that I feel like they showed the best moments in the trailer. Now again, I don't want to fault this movie too much for that because that's not the movie's fault, that's the marketing. And I felt the same way with Evil Dead 2013. Like if you go back and watch the trailers for that movie, a lot of the best moments are there, especially the Red Band trailer. And, there are, certain scenes we saw that I was super excited to see expanded upon, and there are a couple that are expanded upon, but in particular, like the cheese crater scene, I thought was a little underwhelming. They kind of like, that was such a big part of that like trailer, one of the most like eye-catching moments, I think, and I kind of thought they would do more with that. Same with, the little, like, I'm not sure if it's like a tattooing gun or like a, sewing gun, like towards the eye. There's a couple of things in there that I was hoping that I would see more of, and it kind of sucks that the trailer, I felt, showed a lot of this movie's best moments, but you still get, plenty more carnage. There are plenty more kills and surprises and, so overall, I thought the gore in this, the kills were fantastic. I mean, it is just carnage all over the place. Which again, if you're, you go into an Evil Dead movie expecting that. And I was, especially with how, with how much carnage candy is in that 2013 movie right there, I was happy that they did not shy away. This is a bloody movie. Okay, and I loved that. And as far as the callbacks to the previous Easter egg movies, Bruce Campbell's not in this. Jane Levy's not in this, which I didn't expect them to be. But there are some good callbacks for sure. There are some, classic lines that get thrown out. Of course, you got the chainsaw and shotgun. There's a really cool moment with that. So this has a lot of little Easter egg moments that I think are going to make longtime fans really happy. And I appreciate kind of how this movie left off because, it doesn't set up for anything, which I was okay with. I mean, obviously, it would have been cool to see a tease, but this movie is like left open in a way that they can do anything with this. And again, if you ask me, I think it would be so cool to bring back Ash and Jane Levy's Mia for like an Army of Darkness to like Three Musketeers style movie. That to me, like that would get me like Avengers level hype. Like I am so there for that. Man, I'm trying to think of other things. Like I said, they use this new kind of like apartment complex setting really, really well. Which I think now it might be strange going back and watching like the older movies or like a new Evil Dead movie that is set in like a cabin, like that original setting, because they do so many cool, like unique new ideas like with this new setting that it might be kind of like jarring to go back to basics so much. But, you get scenes with the elevator that are fantastic. You have the new added element of like neighbors being around, so that kind of gives the Deadites more victims in a way and kind of allows for more carnage. There's they do something really cool with this movie where a good not a good portion of it, but there's like several scenes that are shot like through the little eye hole in their like apartment door. And I thought that was really, really cool because you'll have scenes where people are just getting ripped apart and you're seeing it in this weird kind of like, fishbowl effect from the little eye hole. And I thought that was really neat. There's no, one of the most famous controversial scenes from the original is that like tree rape scene. Not in here. They do something, they don't do that scene, but they do something kind of, that scene is implied in the elevator. And I actually thought that the way that they kind of, how that scene played out and how, they showed her being like constrained and everything was one of the standout sequences in this movie for me. It's just nasty. Of all the things that happen in this movie, to me, that is one of the things that looked the most painful. And when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's just, oh man, it's nasty. That looked painful, Jim. I would not want to be her. Again, I thought like the family was likable. This is a weird ass family because you have like, there's 3 kids. There's the daughter, who's the oldest, I believe. Then the middle child is this like, dude who's got like the sides of his head buzzed and he's in his room like blasting vinyl records, and the little girl is like chopping dolls' heads off and then putting the head on a stick and chasing the sister around with it. Just like, as soon as you meet this family, they're a little strange, but to me, that's what makes them stand out, is that these characters are kind of weird. Even like the mom, she's like dyed her hair red, like literally like this red, which again, that was a cool way to kind of explain, like add to her like deadite appearance with that like long red hair. Makeup, fantastic, of course. And I really don't have much negative to say about this movie. I need to wrap it up because I'm about to go 15 minutes, but I really, really loved this movie. I need to watch it several more times before I can say it's my favorite or anything. It is just like razor thin difference for me right now between this and Evil Dead 2013, because I love both of these movies a ton. But overall, this movie is metal as fuck. I loved it. Like, if If this is your thing, if you love gory horror movies, and especially if you're an Evil Dead fan, I think this is going to please you absolutely, and 1000% go and see this movie, okay? So that is pretty much it. Man, I just am still elated with how much I enjoyed this movie. So I'll see you guys next time, and take care. Bye.